Hi everyone, and good morning or good evening or whatever time it is in your location right now. I know it's not just Filipinos that who are with us today, so I appreciate or we appreciate your time for you know you know, um um spending it with us today. So we'd like to welcome everyone for this free exclusive webinar. It's for AcademyEX, and we're gonna know what are the 2025 scholarships and industry relevant courses or programs for them. So just a bit of a background, of course, here in the Philippines, it is represented by me, Cheryl, your host, and of course, Miss Jasmine Sagua, our Philippine Business Development Manager. But Miss Jasmine, she's a Filipino. She's been in New Zealand, a migrant in New Zealand for almost a decade, and she's the only Filipino in our Auckland office. So moving forward, Immigration Advisors New Zealand is once again its physical office is in Simon Street in Auckland. So, but we're also locally present in various countries such as Nepal, India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, even the Middle East, and of course here in the Philippines. It's also our pride that we have in-house licensed immigration advisors. So anything about work or residency in the future, because that is our end goal, right? Not just to study in New Zealand. So no worries because we have licensed immigration advisors who can help you go through that path. So why we are also one of the most sought after or trusted licensed immigration advisor or consultancy and immigration advisor is that we have already served 30 plus nationalities. That's across the world. Of course, aside from that, we're partners with various schools, universities, colleges, and it is headed by Ms. Vandana and Mr. Himanshu Rai. So before coming or migrating to New Zealand, both of them have the background really to be the best in what they do right now. One thing more is that in the Filipino scene, here in the Philippines, student visa approval is at 95 to 100%. So it's one thing that we're proud of as well. Just last year, according to the data of Immigration New Zealand, we have sent 25 students. And so this gets approved. You can see on the photos we will also be joined actually by one of them, Mr. Patrick J. Marcelino, who will also be sharing his testimonial later on. So yeah, here you can take a look at an overview of our globally recognized and NZQA accredited schools. So when you graduated from these schools, your um your qualification is known or globally recognized. And of course, one of them today, Academy EX has, you know, generously spent their time in order for them to share what else can they provide for international students. And so you can see what we'll be discussing today. Aside from the scholarships, of course, the eligibility and key deadlines, the postgraduate programs, be it research or thought, in-demand study fields in New Zealand, flexible learning for professionals. Of course, we have applicants who have their families and children with them, real-world skills and career support, post-study work and residence pathway as well, and of course the family support. Without further ado, I wanted to give the floor to the international liaison lead of Academy EX, Miss Asta Kapoor. So she's actually bringing extensive, expertise in the global education and student counseling already in various parts, including Southeast Asia, and that's where the Philippines is. So, Miss Asta.
Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. And thank you so much for the opportunity. And thank you, everyone whosoever has joined us. I know it's Friday morning, afternoon, evening for some of you, but appreciate your time. My name is Astha, and I work as International Liaison Lead at AcademyEX, which in a nutshell means I work with our international students from across the globe. I help them navigate through the right program and try to provide them as much as information I can before they plan to join the program. Yeah, I will just quickly go ahead and share my screen so that I can take you through further information about our programs. Um, does that work, Cheryl? Should I go ahead and share the
Sure.
presentation?
Sure, Miss Anne.
Great. Thank you. Great.
Yes.
So, as I said, I work with AcademyEX. I'll be giving you a brief overview about who we are, what we do, and how we are disruptors in the space of education because we do things differently and our programs are very unique. They are not very traditional. So we'll go through all those details during the presentation, but just to give you a brief idea about where we started and where we are now. So we started in 2013 by the name of Mind Lab, and we've grown a lot in the last a little over 10 years. We initially were only offering programs to our domestic students. We started with Masters of Contemporary Education. It is one of our really popular program in domestic space, and we've had a lot of educators, domestic educators, graduate from this specific program. And then we launched Masters of Technological Futures, and during COVID, we also launched something called Masters of Change and Organizational Resilience. So all these programs earlier were only available to our domestic students, but a couple of years back we started recruiting international students, and we've had an amazing response from our students from all across the globe. Um, so basically, just to give you a brief background about who we are a Category 1 tertiary education provider. So Category 1 is the highest category for private tertiary education providers, and we are NZQA approved, and we are also New Zealand firm mark license. So we are a completely New Zealand owned or you can say a New Zealand product. So that is why a New Zealand firm mark licensee. Um, just to show you how our campus looks like, as you can see, it is quite colorful and it's not traditional. It looks very different compared to any other institute, I would say. So we also call it our creative learning space because, as you can see, the way students are sitting in the session, it's more of a workshop-based practical learning experience. It's a creative learning environment where where our learners come and they work on their projects, innovate, and experiment. So at AcademyEX, what we offer is research-based masters. And when I say research, you might think about thesis, but let me tell you, you're wrong about it because we do things differently. So what we expect our students to deliver in 90 credit research is a project proposal. So that is what makes it more of a practical learning experience. I will be taking you through all the three masters. So I'll start with Masters of Technological Futures. As the name suggests, this program focuses on technology and how you can use the technology into your day-to-day problem solving, or how you can adapt to the new emerging technology and navigate through the challenging environment that we have when AI is doing so much around us. So this program is more about overview of emerging technology. We don't go in hard tech. That is why anyone and everyone can do it. So we've had people from marketing space, banking space, engineers enroll in this program. So because it's more of an overview wherein you get to understand the emerging technologies and how you can use it. That is the reason why anyone and everyone can enroll in this program. Now, this is a research-based master's, a level 9 program where you'll end up completing 180 credits. Something which is unique to Academy EX is during your research, you will have an industry advisor who will help you navigate through your project proposal, your research project, and everything. Now, our industry advisor, they do have their PhDs or they do have their qualifications in place, but what they bring with them is the knowledge of real world. So they use their real world experience because they are part of senior leadership, or maybe they are part of non-profit organizations, or investors. They use their real world experience and help our students deliver their research project. So that is something which is very unique to Academy EX. Apart from it, being a research-based master, students are also eligible for full-time work rights while they are studying. However, we always emphasize on the fact that working full time should not be the first thing. The first thing is to focus on your education and graduate from the program. But yes, this is an opportunity which comes along with the program. We do offer this program in two durations. One is 14 months and the other one is 18 months. I will explain the difference in the next slide, um, along with the program structure, because it would be easier to understand. We do have a June and October intake this year. So this is how the program structure looks like. We do not have semesters. We do not have typical lectures where you come and make notes. That is not how we do things. The way we work is basically in first 20 weeks, you get to explore emerging and disruptive technology, technology practice context, technology ethics, disruptive system. While you're exploring these different technologies, you use your work experience and the content you explore, the workshops you participate in, the online sessions to find out your individual research topic. So all our students, they come with minimum 2 or more years of experience. Our average class age is 43 years old. We have international learners who are in their mid 30s, 40s, and 50s as well. One of our international learner is 56. So there is, if you want to learn, like you can learn at any age. So we welcome students from all age brackets. What we want is for them to come with right work experience because they'll end up using that work experience to find out their research topic. Now, once you have your research topic, you move to part two, which is 12 weeks, where you'll work on your project proposal. You'll have to build a project proposal, and this is where you work with your industry advisor to build a project proposal based on the topic you choose. We will be assigning a industry advisor based on that. Now, once your project proposal is in place in 12 weeks, the final part is where you deliver your 90 credit research project. Now, our students, they've delivered app wireframe, mirrorboard research project. So you have to deliver a project proposal. We do not accept a thesis. Now, this is where the program duration would come into picture because if, say, you were to go for 14 months, you only get 20 weeks to deliver your 90 credit research. But if you go for 18 months, you have 40 weeks to deliver your 90 credit research. So it is completely on you which duration you want to go ahead with because some students, they're very confident that they can deliver the research in, say, 20 weeks. They can go for 14 months. Some students, they feel they need more time and flexibility. They go for 18 months because regardless of the duration, you'll end up completing 180 credits and the tuition fee and everything stays the same. So this is more of an opportunity for the student to choose what fits with their goal. Now, during the program, being a research based master's, we do have a lot of sessions. Every week, there would be an online session which students are required to attend. Apart from it, there is a workshop every once in 6 weeks, which students are required to attend on campus. That is where a lot of practical learning experience would take place, workshops, and everything. These are two mandatory sessions. Having said that, these are not the only sessions that you can attend. We do have a lot of events which you can participate in. We've got external facilitators, speakers coming in for those events, and our learners can participate free of cost. Those are not paid for them. We do have sessions like career workshops, 2 days workshop with a career coach, which a lot of our students prefer to attend, and that happens very in the very beginning. And apart from it, there are regular catch-ups with industry advisors in the beginning as well. So a lot of optional sessions which you can attend, but these are mandatory ones. We do have people coming from various different backgrounds. As I said, there is no criteria that you have to come from a tech background in order to enroll in this program. That's not the criteria. You can come from any background till the time you know what you want to achieve out of the program and you have the right work experience, you can enroll in the program. We've had people come from financial sector, education sector. To give you an example, our first international student, he's from China. He graduated last year in September. So he was a teacher He enrolled in Masters of Technological Futures, and he's delivered an app wherein his students can, which can help his students convert the coursework from Mandarin to English and English to Mandarin. And he's used Meta AI to do that. So it could be anything. You can come from any background till the time you have an idea what outcome you want to gain you want to achieve after you once you graduate. You can enroll in the program. The other program is Masters of Change and Organizational Resilience. As the name suggests, this program focuses more on how you can navigate through challenges and more of leadership focused program, I would say, because a lot of our students who are joining this program, they come with 15 to 20 years of work experience. They are either leaders or they are emerging leaders who want to upskill themselves, have a better understanding how they can navigate through the dynamic environment in workplace and get a better management get a better management skills. So those are the people who are a right fit for this program. For this program, you need to come with at least 2 years of leadership experience or 5 to 7 years of professional work experience if you wish to enroll in this program. Now, just like the other program, this is a level 9 program with 180 credits. You do have one-on-one industry advisor support. Uh, you get full-time work rights while you're studying, and this program is available in two durations, and 14 and 18 months. And June and October would be the intakes this year. Um, Similar to the previous program, this is divided in three parts as well. The only difference is in part one, the content would change because that is more focused on leadership and management, analytical decision making skills, organizational complexity rather than tech. This is more focused on leadership, but there is some element of tech in this program as well. So everything stays the same apart from the content. We've had a lot of people join from leadership positions, CEOs, managers, I would say business development leads, organizational change lead. That is a new thing, a new role which we've seen in New Zealand quite a lot. So we've had people from leadership background join this program, HR professionals, L&D, people from L&D background. They are right fit for this program because you will be working alongside other learners who come with 10 to 15 years of work experience. So it's good for international learners to come with similar work experience. The other program would be Masters of Contemporary Education. This program is more focused on um, introducing digital fluency to educators, how they can use digital tools into their day-to-day teaching. Um, One thing I want to highlight about this program is this program does not provide teaching registration. In New Zealand, this is more of a professional development for educators who want to understand the New Zealand education system and also upskill their digital fluency and how they can benefit themselves, their students, and the wider community. It is a level 9 program, a research based master's with 180 credits. However, when it comes to duration, we only have one duration for this program, which is 15 months. And we only have one intake for this program, which now will be in April 2026. Um, this specific program is this cohort is specifically for international learners. The other two programs are both for domestic and international learner, and they share the learning space. They are in the same cohort, whereas in this specific program, this cohort is only designed for international learners because our domestic learners, they're working full time and it's not possible for them to enroll in a full time program as well. So this specific cohort it will only have international learners. However, we are working on a way wherein our domestic and international learners can work together during the program, but they'll have certain sessions with our domestic learners, but mostly it will be an international intake. Compared to the other two programs, the way this program work is very similar. However, the number of weeks dedicated to each part would be different. And this program does require students to be on site minimum 2 days a week because there would be sessions from up for around 4 to 6 hours every week and requires a lot of active participation from individuals on weekly basis. So the first 20 weeks is all about exploring different content, working alongside other learners and our program team, um, and finding their research topic by the time they complete part one. And then the part two, they get 15 weeks wherein they build their project proposal. And part three is 25 weeks where they have to deliver their research. Now, that research could be delivered in a school in New Zealand, or they could also deliver the research in a school back in their home country. They can use online platforms to do that, and in case they are working on a research which does not require which is not required to be delivered in a school, they can deliver that in whichever capacity they would their project is. They can do that. So they do have guidance from our program team, the advisor when it comes to the project proposal and research. But this program does require minimum 2 days a week commitment on campus. We've had educators, curriculum designer, people from edtech background um, enroll in this program. A lot of our current international learners, they come with a teaching experience and a bachelor's in education or a master's in education. They are using that to get a teaching registration in New Zealand and using this program for as more of a professional development to get a better understanding of education system in New Zealand. But if you are an educator who is looking to teach in New Zealand and would need teaching registration and considering this program, then this program would not be right fit because this program would not provide teaching registration. Now that we've discussed the three different masters that we offer, I'm just going to quickly take you through the entry requirements for each program. So all our programs require students to come with a level 7 graduate diploma or a bachelor's degree. Now, we do require minimum 2 years of professional work experience, which is non-negotiable, and it's a critical requirement because our students they do use their work experience in order to navigate through the program. Um, Minimum 2 years is the requirement, but if you have more work experience, that always helps because a lot of our students they come with minimum 5. Um, Apart from it, we do require English proficiency scores. You can either appear for an academic IELTS or a PT. We do not give waivers because in our program, as I said, our programs are more practical based experience. So we do require students to come with good communication skills. We can only give a waiver if a student has completed their bachelor's or master's overseas in an English speaking country. That is the only time when we can give a waiver. Otherwise, we require English proficiency scores. Once you submit your application, these are the mandatory requirements. You can come with any bachelor's or anything. We don't have a specific criteria in those regards, but work experience is something that we are very that we would need. Apart from it, we do require certain supporting documents along with your application. Once you submit the application, there would be 2 rounds of interview. The first one is it's not an interview, it's more of a conversation. The first one would be with me or someone from international recruitment team. And once you clear that, the second one would be with the program team for them to understand if you are a right fit for the program or not. And that would be again a conversation. Uh, and after that, we'll roll out an offer letter for you. Now, moving to the interesting bit, which is around the scholarship. So we do have our tuition fee is 44,000 New Zealand dollars for the entire program. Now, we do have certain scholarships. So we have an International Academic Excellence Scholarship, as the name suggests. It is completely focused on academic part. We do not take your professional experience in consideration while we are evaluating you for the specific scholarship. Uh, so this is a 25% scholarship and we give 4 scholarship per program per intake. If you were to get the scholarship, the tuition fee would come down to 33,000 New Zealand dollars for the entire program. This scholarship is still available for October intake. If anyone is interested in applying for October, the scholarship is still available, but for June, we do not have the scholarship. For 2025, we still have certain discounts, early bird discounts in place. So anyone applying 2 months prior to the program start date get a 10% early bird discount automatically, which brings down the tuition fee to 39,600. And if you're applying 6 months prior to the program start date, that brings down, you'll get a 15% super early bird discount, which brings down the tuition fee to 37,400. This is only for 2025. I'm not sure if this would be there in 2026. So anyone applying for October, I think they'll still be eligible for 15% discount until the end of April. Now, just to highlight the scholarship requirements for the Academic Excellence Scholarship, we do require a bachelor's degree, a strong GPA. Basically, that is what we look at. Higher the English proficiency score, uh, the better it is. And along with it, you're required to submit an international scholarship application. So the panel is going to look at your GPA, your English proficiency scores, and the scholarship application. The stronger the GPA, the English proficiency score, and the stronger the statement for international scholarship application is, it will help your application. So that's pretty much it around the scholarship and overview of the program. This brings me to end of our level 9 programs. However, I also want to briefly introduce a new program that we've launched. It is called Innovators Residency Program. So basically, this program is a level 8 program with 30 credits. Now, in this program, our learners, they have an opportunity to come to New Zealand for 10 weeks. This program can be done on visitor visa as well because it's only 10 weeks. And we will be covering two micro credentials. One is entrepreneurship and the other one is emerging and disruptive technologies. This is where our students would get to experiment with emerging technologies. We have a play lab on campus wherein students can work on 3D printing, explore new AI technologies, and work with different tools. And at the same time, on the entrepreneurship side, they will get to experience the SME culture here in New Zealand. They'll get to visit, interact with people who come with huge experience in business space or who are investors. So it is a good opportunity to get an idea of New Zealand landscape and to see if New Zealand is a right fit for you. This is a 10-week short program which starts in September. In case if you're interested to find out more, you can either reach out to the team at Immigration Advisors or read through the program on our website to find out more information. This brings me to end of my presentation, and I'll stop sharing my screen and pass it on to the team.
Thank you very much, Ms. Acha, for that comprehensive presentation. Of course, all the programs and scholarships that can be, taken advantage by our audience. So at this point in time, I would also like to share my screen once again, and we'll be hearing from one of our Filipino students currently enrolled in the Master of Technological Future. So his name is Patrick V. Marcelino. He is from Pulilan, Bulacan, but he will tell you more about his background coming from the Philippines to New Zealand. Sir Patrick.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here with you, everyone. Okay, so I am a Filipino international student here in New Zealand, particularly with AcademyEX, taking up the Masters of Technological Futures. So the reason why I really enjoyed studying with AcademyEX that, as what Asta mentioned earlier, um, they kind of give you a different take on education, which really gets your creative part of yourself and as well as be connected with industry experts. So initially, before I start with Academy X, my expectations was that it will be like the traditional academic experience wherein you go and join with academy, um, sit with the class. You have like a scheduled class, but here in Academy X, it's more on they will give you information to discover. For example, in my case, emerging and disruptive technologies, they will give you information about it, but it will be like a guiding tool for you to discover what you wanted to do, what innovation are you planning on, and develop your critical thinking skills. So that's why I agree when Astra mentioned that the space they offered for the learning experience is like a creative space. And then, so before coming to AcademyEX, I work as an engineer for a multinational company. Then, during one of my projects internationally, I was able to experience this emerging disruptive technologies, which leads me to AcademyEX. I am also one of those luck people that was granted by AcademyEX the International Academic Excellence Scholarship. And yeah, so I think it is also a good experience for international students. It is a big discount. So I suggest everyone to submit your application. And I think that's all. Maybe we can open more for the Q&A for those who are interested with the program. For You can also raise questions if you want to learn more about the student experience that we have in Academy X. I think that's all for me, Cheryl. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Patrick. And later on, Tobayan, I would just like to reiterate, of course, we have the Q&A, like the chat box. So you can just leave your message in there. We will answer your questions towards the end of the presentation. Thank you so much, Sir Patrick. We'll learn more about Sir Patrick and Ms. Asta later on. At this point, I would just like to give the floor, of course, to Ms. Jazz. Let's go to the part where that immigration advisor New Zealand comes in terms of the visa and assessment. Ms. Jazz.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and of course, until good afternoon still, or maybe some part is nearly morning. So, in Immigration New Zealand, we really take our job carefully. That's why we have a very clear steps in terms of our application. We have 6 steps to make sure that your application or your dream in coming to New Zealand will be a reality. Patrick is one of our students. He knows that our system is very rigid, and we make sure that everything is in place before we lodge the application. Because we don't want our students to be what to call that that we go back to zero, because we don't really charge our student in the processing fee. In Philippines, we have discovery fees of 10,000 Philippine peso. So it's what our organization is only the one who's doing discovery fee with a very minimal fee for in processing your visa. So first, we have a client. We need to be connected to our clients. For example, we do Zoom meeting to make sure what is the interest of our clients. We listen to the need of the client before we give their course recommendation, because we believe that you're the one who's going to study, not us. So your interest must be there, right? And it's your money also, it's your investment. So we make sure that you like to study in AcademyEX, not just because we mandated you to study in AcademyEX or other institutions. So we have that one. Normally we have it maybe 2 or maybe maximum of 3 sessions before you commit on your course, because we want you to explore, and we're sharing the link of the colleges. We want you to explore by yourself what are the options. We give at least 5 options of courses before you decide. Okay, and then after that, we evaluate what your information that you given to us. We make sure that those information are authentic, because immigration really are very strict in terms of your application might be not notarized, not being signed by a justice of peace, or not signed by the notary public. So it's very essential also. And then we have that step three, that we make sure that your SOP is based on your objective of why you want to study in New Zealand, why you want to further study, not just because I want to be a resident visa holder. It's not the way. So we want to improvement of your skills, so your SOP must be there, and we will guide you how to do that. And our step four is we make sure that you are eligible, for example, for your English test. Your experience is valid, not just because you just get it from somewhere, that your experience, because we this is a master's degree program. We make sure that you have something to write on your paper, and make sure that you survive in education of New Zealand. And then we explore all the options that we can give you in terms of courses, other areas in New Zealand, because we have majority of the schools here in New Zealand is our tie-up. So you don't have to worry about, oh, just give us in Auckland. No, we have also in other areas also, Wellington or Christchurch, we have that. So you don't have to worry. And then we prepare your application, and before we lodge your application, it must be approved by you. We have to check everything. Even all the statements must be checked by you before we lodge it. And then after lodging your application, hopefully everything will be positive. And then we make sure that it's right now we have 100% approval rating since we launch the Philippine market. We don't have any decline for that's why in the immigration, we from the last result, we are in 95% to 100% approval rating for the Philippine market. So, and then why you want to study in New Zealand, or why do you want to migrate in New Zealand? It's very, very clear that New Zealand will offer balanced lifestyle or life work balance. But right now we are, because of the mixed schedule, so Atasha and me needs to reach out to you guys, even if it's holiday in the Philippines. But because duty calls, we have to do this. And of course, thank you very much, Patrick. I know it's you. This is your holiday, but because of you love to make sure that the Filipino and then some here Indian, Italian wants to study in academics to share your experience. And then the country is very beautiful, guys. It is clean. It is safe, secured for growing family. And then compared to other countries, I've been in America, I've been with Australia. The New Zealand is a place to be, not just because I'm here, not just because I'm selling New Zealand, because it I feel more secured here. My kid is more secured. And then and then I see myself retiring in this country. That's why I'm not ashamed of telling you that New Zealand is a place for you to be in. That's it for me, share, and then hopefully we can get some immigration insights, so that our students know how to be here in New Zealand.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ms. Jazz. At this moment, I would like to give the floor to one of our expert licensed immigration advisors. She is Ms. Tanuba Bose. She has an extensive experience in this field. And so, what are the post-study work visa, or what are the opportunities after your study in New Zealand? So here it goes.
Thanks, Cheryl. Kia ora, everybody, and thank you for making the time today, despite it being a holiday in New Zealand. So I'll just very quickly go through what are your sort of immigration advantages that you get from studying in New Zealand. Obviously, we will handle more of your questions, so please feel free to put questions in that Q&A box, because I can give you an overview, but I guess the understanding sort of cements better once you're asking more questions around that. Now, as Jazz has said, New Zealand is a really wonderful place for, raising your kids. It's safe, it's healthy. A lot of the advantages that you get in New Zealand. But apart from that, the immigration or the government has also made it fairly streamlined for international students to actually come to New Zealand to study a course, and then eventually sort of mark their pathway towards residence. So all of the work, there are sort of very, very streamlined instructions and processes in place that make sure that your residence or your study to residence pathway is actually very streamlined. New Zealand is probably one of the only countries which still sort of offers that to international students. So it's a very good opportunity for most of you who are thinking or considering New Zealand and other countries, for your international education, for upskilling yourselves. Now, if I start with, so I will start off with, what are the sort of advantages that you get if you do a master's or a PhD in New Zealand. Now, Astha talked about, the three sort of master's degrees that they offer. Now, all these, the master's degree that come with thesis or come with project work, they actually do offer a lot of advantages for international students. One of which is that while you're on a student visa, you actually get full-time work rights, which means you're not restricted of 20 hours a week work, but you can actually work full-time while you're in New Zealand. Once you complete your master's degree, you're eligible for a 3-year post-study work visa. Guys, that's a really long time. It's 3 years. 3 years is a fairly good amount of time for you to sort of put whatever you've learned in practice, get yourself that skilled offer, and work in New Zealand and gain that international work experience as well. And because these courses are so practical orientated, it sort of gives you that, it builds that sort of background of build that base for you to actually build on it. Then what happens is once you do a master's degree, you're also sort of get not only upskilling yourself, but you're also sort of getting those points in place to eventually apply for your residence. So immigration has a skilled residence pathway. It is called the skilled migrant category. It's a point-based system in which you need to essentially be eligible for 6 points. And once you do a master's degree, you straight off get 5 points for your qualification that you've completed in New Zealand. After you've got that, you only need to have an additional 1 point, and that 1 point you can make by working in New Zealand. So you gain that 1 year of work experience in New Zealand, and you get the 6 points to get to your residence. Now that's for the student, but that's not all. There is more. When you come to study masters on a student visa, your dependent, so your partner, gets a work visa. It's an unrestricted work visa, which means that there are no conditions attached to that visa, that your partner can work for any employer in any occupation, and there is no limit on time either. So it can be full-time work, it can be part-time work, it could be whatever suits your partner. Your dependents also get student visas. These are, again, unconditional student visas, which means they can be studying anywhere. If they are studying towards primary or secondary education, then they are considered as domestic students in New Zealand, which essentially means that their studies are going to be free of cost. So you see, there are a lot of advantages there. Once the student finishes the course and moves to a post-study work visa for 3 years, the partner and the dependent children get 3 further years of the same kind of visa. So the partner gets 3 further years of work visa, and the dependent students get 3 further years of student visa. So you see, your investment is paying off. So the rate of return on that what you're investing in your studies is paying off, because your children are also getting international education with no additional cost. Your partner is gaining international work experience at no additional cost. So you see, these are all the advantages that are already stacking up for you. And then when you're looking at your residence, as I said, you've already got that 5 points, and the 3 years of post-study work visa sets you well on your way to get that additional year of work experience, so that you can eventually apply for your residence, wherein you can include your partner and your dependent children. Yeah. So that's where the masters, the benefits of masters are concerned. If you're doing a PhD is usually a 3 to 4 year duration program. And yes, you normally pay domestic student fee for doing a PhD, but it's a longer duration than a master's. After completion of a PhD, you get similar sort of advantages in that you still get a 3 years post-study work visa. Your partner gets a work visa while you're on a student visa, and when you move to a post-study work visa, and your dependent children also get student visas or unconditional student visas while you're on a student visa pursuing the PhD, and once you go to the post-study work visa. So those kind of advantages are similar. The only difference would be that for a PhD, once you complete that course of study, you're eligible for actually 6 points. You get the complete 6 points. And all you would need then at the end of it would be a skilled offer of employment from a New Zealand employer to apply for residence. Okay, now that's master's and PhD. Now, if you're doing a course that is less than a master's of PhD, it's not like you've lost out on anything. There are still options for you, whether you're doing a bachelor's degree or you're doing a diploma program. If you're doing a bachelor's degree, you're still eligible for points, because a bachelor's degree from New Zealand earns you 3 points. A bachelor's degree also gets you a post-study work visa, but that post-study work visa is usually for the same period of time that you spend in completing that bachelor's degree in New Zealand. Now, I think the caveat over there is that your partner and your dependent children, their eligibility for work visa and dependent child student visa is entirely dependent on what is the subject area for your bachelor's degree, because not all bachelor's or all diploma level programs would make a partner eligible for work rights and dependents eligible for as domestic students. So that's one area which you need to speak to a licensed immigration advisor about. So if it's a bachelor's degree or a level 7 diploma program, or level 7 diploma program, level 8 diploma programs, or a bachelor's degree, if you're doing any of those courses, then your partner is eligible for work rights only if that qualification is required for an occupation that is on the green list. Now, immigration has a whole raft of sort of occupations that come under the green list, which is essentially skills that are in shortage in New Zealand. So if you are studying towards filling those skills in New Zealand, then you have those advantages of getting your family also to New Zealand. Now that's usually an area where you need to speak with somebody who understands the green list, who can sort of tell you and advise you whether that qualification is eligible or makes your partner eligible for work rights. So please definitely have a chat with our team before you pursue any of those qualifications. So yeah, now that's the skilled migrant category, the advantages that you get from studying in New Zealand. Now, there is another skilled category that you could consider. Now, this is the green list categories of residents. Under the green list, there are sort of two tiers of occupations. Now, one of the tier one occupations, if you are, if you get an offer of employment, which is any one of the occupations that are on tier one, you can actually apply for straight to residence as long as you're meeting the requirements of the green list or of the occupation that is listed in the list. In this case, this is not a point-based system. For qualifying under this category, the only thing that you need is an offer of employment in that particular occupation, and you need to be able to demonstrate that you meet the requirements that are stipulated for that particular occupation. Again, your partner and your dependent children can be included in the residence application, so that's all good. The second green list category, which is the work to residence category, that essentially requires you to work for at least 2 years in that occupation. All of these occupations are listed in tier 2 of the green list. And if you have an offer of employment in any of these occupations, and you work for 2 years, you can then apply for residence at the end of 2 years. And you obviously need to demonstrate that you meet the requirements that are stipulated for that occupation as well. And as I mentioned before, if you are pursuing any qualification that is required or that is, mentioned as a requirement for any of these occupations, whether in tier one or in tier two, then your partner and your partner and your family can also accompany you, and your partner will be eligible for work rights. You will be eligible for post-study work visa, so you get those advantages as well. So that's pretty much it from me, where all of the immigration sort of how studying in New Zealand can lead to your residence pathway. But I'm happy to sort of address any further questions that you may have in that area, because I know a lot of people would be interested in what are my residence pathways, because I do understand that it is a lot of investment and you're looking at what is that return on investment. So yeah, so I think we should now open up the floor for question answers. So yeah, happy to go, guys.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nuba. Yeah, about that, we don't have to worry also because once you come to us, at the later part of your visa application, we also actually um appoint like a certain time to discuss with our licensed immigration advisor. So that's one of the advantages of as well. So we have here, let's delve into your questions. We have one question here. I believe it's for Ms. Asta. Is there a difference between the discounts and the scholarships you've mentioned earlier? And how do they avail these?
Yeah. So if any, so basically the discounts are given based on the date of the application, and if you get an offer letter and say if you've applied 6 months prior to the program start date, you get a discount of 15%. So you don't have to do much; you just have to apply in time. For academic excellence scholarship, which is 11,000 New Zealand dollars. As I mentioned previously, we do require a few documents, which is like we look at your GPA, we look at English proficiency scores, and there is an application for it. So you have to apply separately for the scholarship application. We review all the applications and then make a decision, and we reach out to the candidates who get shortlisted. So there is a process for scholarship, but discounts, it's just based on the date.
All right, thank you so much. And just a follow-up question on that. Is someone who apply for like an early bird discount could also be eligible for the academic excellence scholarship?
They can apply. Yeah, they can apply. However, say if they get the academic excellence scholarship, they will only get the scholarship. We don't have we don't give an option where they can stack the discount and the scholarship. So they get either the
Oh,
International Academic Excellence Scholarship or the discount.
thank you, Ms. Asta. Can you also share perhaps
Mhm.
past student projects from the Master of Technological Futures
Um,
or
Yeah. Unfortunately, I won't be able to share the projects here because, as you are aware, it's a 90 credit research project. Those are huge. However, if you go to our YouTube channel, we've got something called Exceptional Series. So, a lot of our learners, they have done that YouTube video with us explaining their projects, how they use their projects, and where they are. We have learners who came from healthcare side, and they've used MTF to deliver tech-based advancement in medical space. We've had teachers who've used tech to their benefit. So on our YouTube channel, you can find all the projects and hear it directly from our learners, how they've made difference in the industry.
all right, and we can also share you that the YouTube channel of AcademyEX. So, um, the courses are basically uh,
Yeah.
practical in terms of the research. Um, do you have industry immersion through the program?
Sorry.
Do you have
Just like
like
internship,
yes?
industry internship.
We don't have an inbuilt internship or co-op in our program. However, because as we discussed earlier, it's a research-based master's, and our students do get full-time work rights. they get an opportunity to get that experience, apply for certain job roles. We do not encourage them to work full time because the program requires you to work towards your research, and that can be very time consuming. But yes, you do have an opportunity to apply for jobs on your own, but there is no inbuilt internship or co-op. And maybe Patrick can add more to that.
Yeah, thank you, Asta. Actually, just to share, I think the person who raised the question is a co-Filipino like me. Just to share with you, one of the Filipino cohorts, past Filipino cohorts that has finished his master's, I think his name's Daniel. So actually, he was able to have an industry immersion with NZ Tech. Uh, he worked with NZ Tech before as a community manager. So I think that's what Asta also mentioned. Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you, Sir Patrick. That has been very helpful. Also, I believe this is for Ms. Tanuba. What are the typical turnaround times or Ms. does for student visa processing from the Philippines or the Middle East?
Yes. So the average turnaround or the average processing time at Immigration New Zealand for student visas is about 4 to 6 weeks. But that is obviously provided there are no medical issues, because if there is a medical issue, that sort of extends the time frame further. But with no medical problems or anything, then the student visas are usually getting turned around within 4 to 6 weeks, whether they're from Philippines or the Middle East. But that's like the average one. It's for all nationalities. I'll take the next one as well, Cheryl, which is post study work eligibility included after finishing this master's program at AcademyEX. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by is whether it's included, but if once you complete a master's program at the Academy AX, well, actually, any master's program in New Zealand, you would be eligible for a 3-year post study work visa. You need to apply for this once you've completed the course and you've got your course completion certificate or letter from the college. The fifth one also is, do you offer any support for dependent on family visas? Yes, we definitely do. So when we are sort of talking you through what your, your course selections, when we're talking through your the student visa process, we will also help you with the dependents visas as well. So yeah, so whenever you're connecting about the student visas, talk about the dependents at the same time, because we can then keep advising you about all of them, pretty much simultaneously. The offshore student visa exempt team will not be able to advise you about the dependents. That is usually done by our licensed immigration advisor. So it'll be either one or the other 4 licensed immigration advisors that we do. So you'll be connected with one of us, and we will take you through the dependents applications as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Tanuba. How about this question? The client or the question is, he already completed a graduate diploma level 7, but was not granted with a post-study work visa. I believe what it's asking is if he studies, will he be able to
Okay, what can you say?
take that
You take
post-study
they
work
have
visa?
already completed a grad dip level 7, but it was not granted with a post-study work visa.
Ah,
Oh, so basically you're saying that you've done a qualification which is not eligible for a post-study work visa. So I'm not sure what it is that you're exactly asking here. Um, so maybe you connect with us, because I will need a little bit more information about this question before we can answer that, because it's a specific situation and as I said, I need a little bit more information. Just one thing, Cheryl. We've got a question here from it says generic. So this participant actually wanted to know what are the generic entry requirements for the courses at Academy EX. So I think Asta, this, if you could please help with that.
Sure, happy to. So, as our entry requirements, we do require a level 7 diploma or a bachelor's degree with minimum 2 years of professional work experience. If you have more work experience, that works better for us, because all our learners, as I said, our average class age is 43 years old. But apart from it, we do require English proficiency scores along with few supporting documents, which would be like a statement of intent, your CV, reference letters, and a couple of other documents. But then these are the major requirements for the program. We do not have a specific GPA requirement as such when you're looking to enroll in a program. However, till the time you've graduated and you come with relevant work experience, you have an idea what you want to achieve from the program. That helps us. I
Another,
think there's another. Sorry.
yes, go
I
ahead,
was
Miss
just going
Asta.
to say there is a question around healthcare. If we offer something in healthcare, we do not offer a program in healthcare, but a lot of our learners, they've come from different backgrounds, as I've mentioned during the presentation, and depending upon the outcome they are looking at, if they're looking to learn about technology, emerging technologies, and how they can use those technologies in their, area of work, you can do that. We've had learners from healthcare space who've used technology for medical advancement. We've had people join us from defense space in MTF program. We've had people from different backgrounds and masters of change and organizational resilience. The good part about our programs is you have the ownership to decide how you want to mold the scope of the program, because you choose your research topic, you figure out those day-to-day challenges that you experience in your workspace, you find out your research topic and you find out a solution for that. So it gives you an opportunity to mold the scope based on what you want to achieve.
Thank you very much. And Miss Asta, also there's another question. Can someone without a degree or a diploma can apply for the master's course, but with just the basis of extensive work experience?
Yes, if you do not have a bachelor's or a level 7 graduate diploma, then we will need a very highly skilled profile, which means around 10 to 15 years of work experience, which is professional, managerial, leadership, everything. And detailed job description with roles, responsibilities, certification, because we have to do an in-depth analysis before we can offer you a place in the program. I would say there is a pathway. However, it requires you to come with very strong work experience and provide very extensive documentation as well.
All right. So far, we have how many? I think three students from Australia that applied from Australia going to New Zealand in their studies. So far, there's no decline. So meaning, those students that studied from Australia, we just need we will need to declare their academic experience also from Australia and their academic achievements in Australia. So you don't have to worry if you're able to finish anything from Australia. Still, the some of the school, if you want to answer ask about the cross crediting and everything, it is the school can answer that. But of course, we make sure that there's a, because in here in New Zealand, you need to be able to finish 30 credits in order to for you to get the post study work visa.
30
So if
weeks.
30 weeks, sorry, 30 weeks in order for, sorry, thank you, Tanuva. 30 weeks of study in order for you to get a post-study work visa. So if ever it will be shortened, there's no post-study work visa for you. And that's why the reason why you want to study and to have a chance in residency is to get that path. So if ever we are welcome for those who are based from Australia. All our students now is studying masters, and so, one is just arrived in New Zealand, Alvin, who is now studying engineering in ICU, and she came from Australia. And one advantage for AcademyEX, Asta was not able to mention, is because you have full-time work rights, right? So full-time work rights, if ever you're able to get a job full-time, it will considered as 1 year experience. And then that experience will be included the moment you apply for your work visa. So it's very advantage for you if you're going to study in AcademyEX, because you will have a full-time work, right? But we really, the school, they really don't encourage it because of the course. But if you're able to manage everything, if you're able, well, we Filipinos know how to manage things. So if you're able to manage it, because full time here in New Zealand is 30 hours. 30 to 40 hours is a full time. So if you're able to manage that, So if you get a full-time job, your resident path will be likely a clear path. So hopefully, some of you, everything will be addressed on our page, on our FB page. Can you please share the FB page of Immigration Advisors New Zealand, because some of them are late coming here. And then uh, thank you very much today also for attending. I'm sorry, I'm closing closing this webinar. For any questions, share and me are one chat away or one WhatsApp away, because we believe that you are now in the webinar. You are already put one step for your dream of coming to New Zealand. So, and if you want to study with AcademyEX, you can message AcademyEX directly, and you just tell them that we attended the webinar. We and you want to explore, it's fine with us, as long as we will, of course, Atasha knows that we can endorse back to us the students, so we don't have to worry, because the Academy EX group is very accommodating to the inquiries of the. And as a migrant for almost a decade here in New Zealand, I'm telling you, I don't regret anything coming here in New Zealand. I decided to go here in New Zealand when Duterte win for presidency. And yes, it's political motivated of moving to New Zealand. I don't regret my decision. And I'm here standing that you can do everything as long as you are set your mind to it. And yet I don't have a student, I don't take the student pathway. I took the hardest path, the skilled migrant category pathway 10 years ago. I arrived in New Zealand without a job offer as a university professor, and it's very hard to be a university professor back then. And the good thing is, I was accepted to be a lecturer in a university, in a college here, teaching international students. That's why I know the pain, I know the pathway, I understand the care, the every step of the way of the students. So that's why I'm still in this industry 10 years from now, 10 years ago until now. So I hope that you will trust Immigration Advisors New Zealand, because we in the Philippines, it's only few that has a immigration advisors that uh, backing your application. And Tanua is one of our best immigration advisors in New Zealand that will double check all the documents with you, and especially our partnership visa, that immigration now is saying that your partnership visa must be under the licensed immigration advisor. So so far, no decline for our partnership visa. Tanua is can attest to that how many, I think 20 plus of
Mm.
our partners from the Philippines got their visas already. So I'm very happy that we work to advantage, really, if you work with a licensed immigration advisor. And that is for our webinar today. Don't worry, Cheryl will email you and then give you updates of what will be what of our recap of our webinar today. And thank you very much for taking a time with us.
Just finally, I think I know there are quite a few of them who said that we came in late. Where can we get the presentations, etc. So just to let you know, a recording of this webinar would be posted on our website, our YouTube channels, and also on our Philippine page. And Cheryl at the end of it will send you all links to each one of those, so you can sort of visit our website, our YouTube channels. You can visit our FB page, and you'll have access to the complete webinar recording. So yeah, don't fear. All of that information is all there.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Mr. Nuva, Miss Jazz. And of course, we appreciate Academy X, Miss Atta, and of course, Patrick as the student ambassador for doing this very insightful and really helpful session. So we also, of course, look forward to everyone, right? After this one, no words, I will be getting in touch with you guys and sending you what are the next steps after this. So once again, thank you very much. Maraming salamat po.
Bye.
Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you.
Thank you, Asta. Hope you have your rest of the day. Thank you,
Thank you.
Patrick.
Thank
Bye.
you. You too. Thanks, Patrick.
Have a good day. Bye.